Hey, this is DC, and you're on Barside Jive. Today, I have the pleasure of having a good friend of mine, Buddy Whittington, here. Stop by for a visit.
How y'all doing?
Welcome, Buddy. And we're at Tolberts on Main Street in downtown Grapevine, enjoying some of Tolberts' well-known
Texas Red,
Texas Red chili.
With onions and cheese and peppers.
Exactly. We're going to enjoy that with a nice glass of beer that Tolberts provided us, and we appreciate being here.
Every time. I tell you what, they take pretty good care of us here.
Man, they do.
We've been playing here quite a while now. We have, it's not often in this day and age that you find a restaurant or a club that puts on entertainment all week long.
7 days a week.
Yeah,
well, and the cool thing about Tolberts is they have talent such as you that people have no idea, where you've been, or they hear you play and man, that guy's an awesome guitarist, but they have no idea what your background is, Buddy. And so that's my one thing I've got to ask you right off the bat is how does a guy raised in Fort Worth, Texas, go all the way from Fort Worth, Texas to England and play with the likes of John Mayall and Eric Clapton and Mick Taylor?
Well, I was lucky that I was on a show with John Mayall with our old band, the Sidemen. It was me and Ron DiUlio and Ronnie Ellis and Mike Kennedy at Dallas Alley, the old Dallas Alley when they were open there. My friend Jerry Thompson, who you might know from Promoter Line. Jerry was at the time the manager of the whole Dallas Alley complex, and he knew the Bluesbreakers were coming in, and he said, who could I get that would be a good fit for a support band? He said, I think I'll call and see if the Sidemen are available to do it. And it worked out for us. We played over there quite a bit. I can't remember if it was Sunday night or Monday night, but they used to have, these little shows where they'd bring somebody in, and they I got to play with Marshall Tucker Band one time. It was a real big deal for me because I love those guys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I said there's several of them over there that I got to play with, and we always enjoyed doing that whole little outdoor area over there. It was a lot of fun for a long time, and we worked a lot over there.
Yeah.
But as far as running into John Mayall, we were on the show with John Mayall, and John is known for, well, he's 82 years old now. I haven't seen him in 6 or 7 years. He may have a road manager, stage manager kind of guy now, but when I was working with him, he never did, and he always set up his own gear. And I turned around, and he's putting his keyboard stand together. Next to him, he's looking up, and he gives me a big old smile, and I got nervous, and I thought, well, I got to go ahead and play anyway. So I finished the show, and he goes, hey, I dig your playing. He goes, I'm about to maybe switch the band around a little bit, and he goes, and I don't have a record contract right now, but I'm looking at several things. He said, and I might have you come out to LA and record with us if you'd be interested in that. And I was like, trying to keep.
Are you kidding?
Trying to keep from swallowing my tongue.
Oh no, I'm kind of busy. I got a date that weekend.
But it worked out, and gosh, I went out there and wound up. The first time I went out, we did a week in California, up and down the 405 and the 5 and the 101 out there. We did all the gigs out there, and the next thing I know, I was in like Denmark and Austria and Czech Republic and all over the world with those guys. And it was a good ride while it lasted, 15 years.
Wow. Well, besides Clapton and Mick Taylor, from the Stones and John Mayall, of course, and I know you've played or at least met some other very talented musicians who all have.
Well, one of my favorite guitar players is Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac, the original Fleetwood Mac, the pre current Fleetwood Mac,
right,
when they were a little 4-piece blues band. Got to tour with them a little bit when Peter was out of the business for a long time, and it took him quite a while to get to where he was in a condition that he could go out and play. He was away for quite a while, and he started. Long story short, he got out and started playing again, and one of the promoters in England thought it'd be a good idea to stick us out on the road with. He had a band called the Splinter Group. And we played with him we toured with him several times, and we came to the States and did some gigs also. And I met some of the guys from his band, like Pete Stroud and Roger Cotton. We played together for years, and I still play with them when I go to England,
Wow.
But, there's been a bunch of them. A lot of the guys that were around John back in those early days, we'd run into on the road. And, like Mick Fleetwood came out and sat in with us on drums in Hawaii one time when he was over there checking out some property that he has over there. And Stevie Nicks was there. She was a very nice lady. First time I ever met her, But just about all of them, that I was ever enamored of to any degree. I've either met them or got to play with them a little bit, or at least got to hang out a little while, and say hi.
One of my favorite musicians of all time is Billy Gibbons.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to know, you in all your travels, have you ever met the guy?
Well, yeah, I had met him a couple of times through friends of mine. That my old friend Jim Hammond, who's no longer with us. Jim worked for CNS Music in Fort Worth, and Billy was always come when he'd be in town. He'd drop in up there to see Jim. And
wow.
And I had another friend that worked up there that would call me and say, "Hey, Billy's up here. You got to come up, say hi," And I'm an old ZZ fan from way back. I saw him the first time in '72, and there's only one or two shows around here that I missed, and I still go see him as often as I can. I'm planning on going over to Frisco to see him when they're opening for Buffett here pretty soon, which will be a big show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of ZZ Top, can you just play us a real quick medley of a few of your favorite songs?
I can find what I do with my plectrum. It's under my chili, so let's see. See. All those, all the old.
Now, you told me that Billy, one time you asked him to sign your guitar, right?
I signed this one right here if I can get it where you can see it. Let's see if I can.
Right there.
He drew his face on there. I don't know if you can get it up close or not. He's got his hat on and his long beard and everything.
He's a pretty cool guy, isn't he?
He's a wonderful guy. And we did a 13-day tour across the Midwest with him, with the Mayall Bunch opening for him, and it was really great. It was one of the high points of I could have gone back to electronic school.
Oh, yeah.
Probably should have after that.
Yeah.
But no, they really made us welcome because they loved John. They were. With him bringing Clapton out in '65, and Mick Taylor and Peter Green, and Billy was right there soaking it all up.
Right. It's good chili, huh?
Man, the best.
Even after it's cooled off, it's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely reason to stop by Tolberts.
Yes, sir.
Hey, tell me one of the most memorable things that's ever happened to you during a performance.
Oh gosh, no, that's a tough one. It could be. The time Billy came to see us was a pretty memorable thing. I had called him. His office is out of Houston. He lives mostly out in L.A. these days. But I had left a bunch of messages when we'd go down. We'd go down to play at Rockefeller's or Fitzgerald's down there.
We still go down there and play quite a bit.
Oh yeah. It's a different band now. We do different gigs down there now. We have been going down there quite a bit here lately. But my friend Kelly Johnson was with us, and he was standing over in the wings. And I had called Billy's office and said, "Look, we're going to be playing with Mayall tonight at Fitzgerald's. If Billy's in town, have him come by. I didn't expect to see him. But you never know where he's going to show up. He's always popping up."
Yeah.
And my friend looks at me and goes like that, and I looked over, and he did like that, and there he was standing over there.
Wow.
And talking about being nervous playing guitar around that guy, But it was really great. He puts you at ease instantly, just really nice guy.
Did he come up on stage?
I wish he would. They had, when we were touring together, they had John come up and play with him a little bit. But that hasn't happened yet for me. And he's been doing it lately. He's been playing outside of ZZ a little bit with his Billy and the BFGs
Right.
thing, with his Perfecto
Mundo.
band.
Yeah, we know all about Perfecto Mundo. I love that album.
He's been wanting to do that for years and years, and he finally got a great bunch of guys together.
Oh,
It's really
they're
cool.
awesome. Yeah, I love the sound.
But I mean, I think they'll do ZZ with Frank and Dusty as long as they can. I hope
Yeah.
they do.
Oh, me too.
I took my family to see them when our kids were like 15 and 16, and I think I saw them the first time when I was 16.
Yeah.
So it was so cool. And we got, everybody got to go back and shake hands with Billy and Frank and Dusty. So it was really cool.
That is awesome.
For the kids.
Well, tell me a little bit about the gear that you brought today.
Well, let's see. I got a couple of Dr. Z amps with me. He's a guy out of Cleveland, Ohio, that I met back when I was playing with John. He's kind of, like I say, he still makes tube-based equipment, but it's all updated and everything works good. And I mean, like he'll tell you himself, they still use the same circuits to do it. And a lot of times the problem is that they have trouble getting good tubes in this day and age because all the machinery that they use to make them is so old that they have to make so many millions of them to make any money on
Right.
it that it's hard to retool and do it. But he's found he's got a source for tubes. Like he's got a bunch of them coming from Russia. That I remember I told my dad one time. I said, these tubes came from Russia. He goes, I can't believe we're buying radio tubes from the Russians.
Yeah.
But the Z stuff and this old canoe paddle of a Stratocaster here, my best man at my wedding and my good friend Mark Ballou found this in a pawn shop on McCart Street for, I think they wanted $150 for it, and they'd thrown the case away because it had been in water damage. And he goes, do you have the case? And they go, yeah, we had it, but we threw it away because it was all wet, And he goes, what do you want for it? He goes, I believe it's $125, $150. He goes, and he calls me up and he goes, bring me $125 over here. I said, okay. So I wound up paying him about $500 for it by the time all was said and done. But he needed the money and I needed the new guitar, so it all worked out.
Tell me the story about the switch. So when
That was in Houston at a place called the Alley that we used to play, and I was in my early 20s, and the little switch, the tip plastic part of this switch will I'm not going to take it off now because I'll probably never get it back on, but it will come off like if you hit the switch, it's a 5-position thing.
Right.
And I had hit it and the tip came off and went down on the dance floor. And I was going, oh boy. And I was standing there trying to sing and play and look and see where my switch tip was going. And there's a girl dancing right in front of me and she kept kicking it. And I said, hey, do me a favor. I said, see that little white thing down there? And she goes, yeah. And I said, let me have it. So she reaches down and picks it up, looks at it, and evidently thinks it's some kind of pill or something. She's almost got it in her mouth. I'm going, no, in the middle of the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the last minute, I retrieved it because, I would have had to follow her around for a week or so, and I wasn't into that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I finally got it back on.
That's awesome. So, been married a long time. You've raised a couple of kids, and you've been a successful working musician most of those years. So,
well, mostly successful. Sometimes it's you kind of have to take it for what it is. I mean, there are certain times that, like at certain times of the year, like after New Year's, everything is so slow till March or April. Like right now, things are beginning to pick up a little bit. But after New Year's Eve, it's like there's hardly any work.
Right.
And unless there's a lot. You have to be kind of resourceful about it. And I like to play gigs where a lot of people see us, but a lot of times I'm doing things that people wouldn't necessarily see me on, and I'm doing that to keep the lights on. So
right.
But that's okay.
Right.
That's part of the deal.
So with all that said, what advice would you give a young aspiring musician?
I say do your homework. Is what I would say. Make sure you do as well as you can in school, and make sure if you're gonna do it, you're going to know that it'll grab a hold of you, and say this is what you're here to do, and you still may be wrong. You know what I mean? You may think that. I'm at the point now to where it's probably too late for me to go back to doing anything else, and I hope I don't have to, but you never know. You know. So I've enjoyed it all my life, really.
Would you do me a favor and play us a little bit of your original stuff?
Well, okay, let's see. Let's do an important one here. This is called Pay the Band. Well, my creditors are making a killing. I've been dead to everybody in town. They're gonna come around and pull my gold fillings before the undertaker takes me down. This high finance is getting way out of hand. When you're done dancing, you're gonna have to pay the band.
So good.
Thank you.
Well, we've got time. You want to play some more?
Oh, I'll play a little bit. This is this is
I
something
have to twist his arm.
I've been messing around a little bit with the old boys of my own generation.
Oh, is this?
This is a little tune I put together called "I Had to Go See Alice," and you got to say "See Alice" real quick.
I know none of these guys in here know anything about that stuff, but we'll go ahead and play it anyway.
Okay, I'll play a piece of it.
Yeah.
Well, I was knocking down walls with a rhythm stick that was harder than Chinese arithmetic till this deflated condition started keeping me down at nights. Now, like old Papa Goose, I was a propaganda till it just couldn't rise to my usual standards. I was still in the running, but it just wasn't hitting the heights. The doc said it's something that I ought to address, but it really wasn't nothing that should cause distress. You're probably working too hard. It happens to us all once or twice. You're getting gray at the temples carrying excess baggage. Better cut out the corned beef and kick up the cabbage. If you know what's good for you, better take old Doc's advice. I had to go see Alice to cure what's ailing me. For just a little elation, a little aggravation, when the factory features start to fail in me.
What else can you play for us?
Oh, let's see. What else could we do?
Yeah, I bought 2 of your CDs here one night, and you've got at least 3.
Well, I've got 2 with original material, and then we do a thing for some friends of ours, Mr. Brian Freeze and Jim Ashworth. They're known as the Dr. Wu Texas Blues Project, and they're the writers of the songs. And then generally Jim will get our band to come in. We have other volumes of it where like all the great players around Fort Worth are on it.
Right.
But I mean, the last several we've been lucky enough to use our band on it, and we got a tune that's done pretty well called "Slow Rolling Train" by them. That's got a lot of hits on YouTube, and
cool.
I've been running around Europe playing it, trying to get people to know it. I'll do a little bit of that. I hitched a ride on a slow rolling train, a one-way ticket down a 2-rail highway. Grabbed my guitar, we were bound for Memphis. Just like Elvis seeking fortune and fame, I pulled out of Texas in a driving rain. Well, I was headed for Memphis on a slow rolling train. The ghost of Elvis spoke to me in a dream. Son, there'll never be another like me. 1 in a million finds fortune and fame. Your heart's in Texas, I'd get off of this train. I'm sitting in Memphis in a driving rain. Well, I was dreaming of Texas on a slow rolling train. Woo! Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Did you ever go to Omar's out on Henderson Street?
No.
Might have been before your time.
Yeah.
This is called Young and Dumb. This is about going out there on beer bus night on Wednesday night. It's like $2 for all the Schlitz draw beer you can drink.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of young people in there that shouldn't have been in there. Anyway, that's old man in his bathrobe. He's wondering where I've been. He's reading the New Testament, smoking a Herbert Tarleton. Sneaking around the back door, bound to be my best bet. 7 a.m. I ain't been to bed yet. Coconut Grove on the Jacksboro Highway. I'm playing waltz across Texas, honky tonk and hideaway. Making my best play, pretty sure I'm winning her. I'm just turned 17, full of piss and vinegar, young and dumb, in a 64 Falcon. I got to make that gig before 9:30 comes. Red lights start to flash, pulling over to the right. Something wrong, the fuse is blown, ticket, phono, tail light. And the third verse about Omar's is Wednesday night at Omar's, howling at the moon. $2 buys a hangover of doom. A #1 prescription for a thirst you can't slake. Made Milwaukee famous, gave me a headache. Anyway, you get the idea.
That's awesome.
Buy the CD now.
There you go. How they buy the CD?
Well, you can buy it on my website. You can find it on Amazon.com. I have another one called Six Strings Svengali that is currently available. The label is in England, and you can go to Manhattan Records, MANHATON Records.com, and get it there. Or you can, like I say, you can get it on any of the download sites. It's pretty much on everything. It's on iTunes, and everybody's got it. CD Baby, I think, has it. So it's fairly easy to get.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Or you can buy one directly from me and support the Whittington Family College Fund.
Absolutely. Well, Buddy, if someone wants to book you and your band, how would they go about getting a hold of you? What's your email address?
Bluesman-1, like Bluesman, one word, and the dash in the middle.
Bluesman-1
at sbcglobal.net. That's another easy way to get a hold of us.
Okay, cool. And then if they want to just check your schedule and see when you're playing, where?
I try to keep it as updated as I can. Sometimes I have to wait until the gig is on for sure. But my website, www.buddywhittington.com, there's a schedule there.
Okay, cool.
Most of the dates are there. So.
Well, we really appreciate you coming by and doing this.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
I know
it was a great opportunity for me.
There's a lot of folks out there that have heard you play, but they have no idea, once again, who you played with, where you've been, and it's just fantastic that you give us this time to talk about that.
We're just happy that when they come see us and when they listen to us.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot.
You bet. Thank you, DC.
You're welcome. So I just want to say, hey, thanks for stopping in the Barside Jive. This is DC. We'll see you next time.
As the credits roll by.
That's right. Rolling the credits.
Texas Trios. Man, they've been rocking from the get-go. Them Texas Trios. Like the Pecos, the Brazos, and the Frio. Buddy Holly, Jerry and Joe B, Johnny Winter, Tommy and Unc, Billy, Frank, and Dusty, without a spare wheel in the trunk, Texas Trio.